Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Tamim. We have another topper with us in the AIIMS November 2019. So please introduce yourself and your college.
Yes, sir. I'm Dr. Shivani Joshi from BMCRI and my rank was 16th in the November AIMS.
Okay. So Shivani, it's really a privilege to be sitting with you and discussing about how how you came to this point.
Thank you, sir.
So can you give us an overview of? I think most of the people who want to see this interview mainly want to gain some input about how they should prepare. So I'm sure a lot of our juniors in your college and
Yeah.
other people would definitely be looking at these kind of videos to gain some input about how to prepare. So before we start going to that, anybody you'd like to thank in your
I would like to thank my family, my parents, my sister and brother-in-law, as well as my uncle and aunt who put me up actually for the past few months that I've
wonderful,
been staying here.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, so
Okay, so you're from Bangalore Medical College.
I'm from Bangalore.
Okay.
College.
So Shivani, did you give the NEET exam last year?
I had given the exam last year and my rank there was 41,000.
41. How does it feel from 41,000 to 16th?
Very, very good. It was very unexpected but very good.
Okay. Okay. So, see, I think around a huge number of people have given the AIIMS exam now, isn't it? You know the exact number? I think more than 40, 50,000.
Yeah, 40 to 50,000.
Yeah. And in that, getting a two-digit rank and that too within 50 is really amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Can you give us an input about how you started your preparation and like 41,000 last year, but then after that, when did you really plan? How did you start your preparation?
So I had joined DBMCI and the classes started by April 1st. And from day one, it was go time. So I knew that I had to actually put in the effort because to get a rank from 41,000 to something else was required naturally.
True.
So I started as the classes went on. For me, the plan was per week, whatever they had taught in that particular class, try to read the notes,
So
complete
your
it
schedule was along with the classes.
along with the classes,
Okay.
definitely. Only
Okay.
towards the end, once the classes got over, was it whole combined revision.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. So you just started along with the classes. As the class would get over, you would finish your subject, right?
I'd finished the
Right.
subject, yes.
How was your typical week after the class would get over?
So, assuming that it's a 2-day class, then
Mm.
if the class got over by Sunday night, I would come back home. And by Monday morning, I would start with the notes first. And along with the notes, I would solve like for per chapter, solve couple of questions from the guidebooks. And beyond that, if there were some questions from different other sources, I would do those as well.
Okay.
And I would try to give any of the tests which were available. All the subject tests are available on the app, so I would try
Okay.
to give those subject
Okay.
tests as well
Okay.
prior to the post class test, which would
Okay.
be the next week.
And how much additional points were you adding to your class notes? Because ultimately your class notes are going to be your final thing.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
trying to keep it to a minimum as much as possible so that it doesn't overburden later.
Okay.
But on an average, I think I would have added around 3-4 pages,
3-4 pages
worth of notes for every subject.
Okay,
Couple of
additional
subjects
points.
here
Right.
and there,
Great.
but
Great.
I would definitely say that adding to your notes is important instead of keeping it in a different source or reading it from a guidebook
Multiple.
later.
So it's
is very
difficult to
difficult.
revise from multiple
Very
sources.
difficult.
So I think this is a very important point that you need to have one book when you go for revision, one set of notes rather, and you can't read from multiple sources when you go for revision. So this is how your entire 6 months phase was.
Yes.
So once the classes got over, how did you plan your revision and how did you approach for the AIIMS exam?
For the AIIMS exam, as Dr. Rajat had also mentioned, sir had mentioned in his videos how to go about the revision, that how many days to allot for a particular subject. So I followed that and decided to finish at least 2 full revisions prior to the AIIMS exam. So for the first 30 days, I had done every subject all over again. So that took time. I think till October 26th, I was doing that. And after that, I did a fast revision over 10 days. And after that, I was just doing papers.
Great.
Old papers.
So I think Dr. Rajat, the videos he's coming out with are really brilliant, and he himself was a topper first ranker. So I think some of the key things that he shares with students is really a big benefit. So in your revision, what subjects you thought you need to spend more time on?
I felt like giving the time to the second year subjects as well
Okay.
as PSM.
Okay.
And OBG would benefit me more.
Okay.
So definitely pharmac, microbiology, pathology, and those are the subjects which actually fetch, I think, more marks
Okay.
than
Okay.
the others.
Okay. So in this AIIMS, I think we had 50 new pattern questions.
Yes.
So and then the remaining 150 were single best response. So how was your approach? What questions you tried first?
I tried the single best response first because
Okay.
familiarity was there with the single
Okay.
best response.
And how many could you attempt
I
out of 150?
Out of 150, I attempted 143.
Great. Great. Okay. And the multiple choice and sequential and the remaining 50 questions, new pattern questions.
New pattern questions. The true and false, I found it very difficult. So,
Okay.
and since they were a 1-to-1 negative marking for those, I didn't mark many of them, which
Okay.
I was not sure of.
Okay.
And I searched match the following was, if like it was capable of being
Okay.
done because
Okay.
they were not very difficult.
Okay.
They were all right.
Okay.
As well as the assertion reasoning, a couple of them I remember I have left.
Okay.
And the sequential arrangement was all right.
Okay.
It was
Any pattern of question that you thought were most difficult apart? I think true and false.
true and
as you
false. I
mentioned.
found it very very difficult
Tricky.
because I
Okay.
felt the options were very similar and
Okay.
some of the topics were not so well read.
Okay. So, having achieved such a wonderful rank, what advice would you like to give to your juniors? How they should prepare? What they should do?
I feel that it's very important to listen to the entire DBMCI staff because obviously they know better, and every single advice which is given by the staff is shown to be true later on because they know what they're saying, and the way that they've put their entire sequence of classes and the way they're teaching is very much important to listen to that, as well as appearing for those all every single grand test, as well as attending all the classes, not just taking the notes from somebody else later, because physical presence, I think it just builds the concept in your head better than reading it later on from somewhere else.
Okay. Right. So, what faculties you thought were really very beneficial for you in your preparation?
So definitely your classes were very very beneficial. I remember enjoying actually thoroughly every single one of them, as well as physiology classes, Dr. Ashwini sir's classes, Praveen Kumar sir's classes, and Rajat sir's classes. They were
Great.
extremely beneficial.
Okay.
So I felt that those are the classes which motivated me to even study more or put
Okay.
in more of the effort
Okay.
when I was feeling low.
Okay. Any final advice you would like to give to your juniors? What is a must do that they need? Because everybody's dream is to get into AIIMS, and you've got such an amazing rank.
Thank you.
So what finally what they should really do apart from, yes, they'll attend the classes, they'll make the notes. Any additional things you can suggest to them?
I would say that have it clear in your mind that you have to do it this time and not to be complacent about it. And the thing is that it actually does require from day one onwards. And if you've been studying during internship or even prior to that, then it's definitely more beneficial for you. So if you're doing that, that's a good thing. So I would say that just focus on trying to get through it, and it's possible, you can do it. It's just that you have to put in the effort from it from day one. That's all I can say about that.
Okay. So how would you find the grand test in Bhatia and the test series that are there in the app?
I think they were very, very beneficial because a lot of the questions were the ones which we used to see in the guidebooks as well, and a lot of the questions were new, so we had more to learn from them as well. And the grand CLT which was held, I think that the ranking which you get there is very accurate.
Okay.
An
How
accurate
did
predictor.
how do you do over there?
There I got rank 15.
Great.
So I felt that I was a pretty accurate predictor considering how you
Wonderful,
can do it.
wonderful.
And it was more of a morale booster as well at that point of time.
Great. So, did you read books like Harrison, and how was your UG?
I did not read Harrison too much. I did read it once, but I did not prepare for it from
Okay.
towards the end.
The kind of questions that they are asking now, people who have worked in the hospital, people who have done internship sincerely, they do stand to benefit.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
how would you describe your internship phase?
I would say that I am very glad that I did my internship from BMC because it gave me the opportunity to learn so much. The kind of work that you do there definitely made an impact on how things got consolidated in your head. Like, you know that you've seen a certain procedure or you've seen a certain instrument, and that would stay in your head because you've seen it. And it's much better to see something than to read it from a book or see a photo of it and then try to remember it.
Okay.
So I would say that doing that internship, I feel that is very important. Now it's showing in even the papers as they're coming.
Mm-hmm. Any topics that you thought, or anything that you'd like to advise? Any resource material, book? Any suggestions that you have for your juniors?
I would say that the notes are the basic, like you need to do them properly. And adding on from guidebooks, one thing is that you obviously add the points which are not there and which have come in prior exams. But one thing is that some of the guidebooks may have some wrong prints, answers. So it's better to get things confirmed if you're unsure about it. And most of the staff is very, very quick in responding to your questions and doubts. So that's a very good thing. Definitely
The most
should
of faculty
utilize
in
that.
DBMCI.
Yes,
Okay.
almost all actually. Like every faculty has been very responsive of the questions which have been asked on various groups or
Okay.
various even personal messages or emails.
Okay. You were following the DBMCI Premier group?
I was following the DBMCI.
Okay.
The questions which are put there are very, very useful. And the thing is that, yeah, obviously you might want to go on Facebook and then you're going, but then you feel guilty that you're there. So when you come across those questions, at least you feel that you're doing something.
Great.
So that's also helpful.
Great. How many years AIIMS papers were you able to do?
I did from 2014 onwards.
Okay.
2015 onwards.
And you found
sorry.
many repeats?
Yes, there were repeats. There
Okay.
were, even if they were indirect, they were there.
Okay. So, any final words?
I would just like to thank the entire DBMCI family because it is them who's made this possible. And I would just tell everyone to go for it. This is the time you need to study for it. And you know that you have to. So just go for it.
Okay, Shivani, congratulations
Thank
once
you so
again.
much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.